So in this video, I wanted to take a quick look at a very cool new pen from Zebra, and the name is insane, so bear with me. It's the Zebra Sarasa Grand Vintage Series Limited Antique Edition. So let's break that down really quickly so you understand what's going on here. This is a pen from Zebra. It's a gel pen, so it's in their Sarasa line. It is a Sarasa Grand, which is the executive version of the Sarasa pens. And it's part of the vintage series where they use vintage faded colors. You can buy a Zebra Sarasa vintage, they're very cool. You can also buy a Zebra Sarasa Grand vintage, but this is the limited antique edition. So what you get there is you get some new colors like this dark green and a black and a red, so on and so forth. And then you get, most notably, the gold hardware. So you have the gold colored grip, kind of is antique looking, almost like a brass or maybe even a bronze. And then obviously you get the gold colored clip and some gold up there. So like the name says, it is a limited edition. I'm not sure how big of a run it is or how limited it is. The companies tend not to say that. They kind of just like get you excited and say, oh, it's a limited edition, I should buy a bunch of them, buy them now, without ever really saying, is this going to be around for a year or 2 years, or did they make 100 of them? It's really hard to tell. Anyway, so we know the Zebra Sarasa line quite well. These are very nice gel pens, some of our favorite gel pens. You know, this and the Pentel Energel tend to be people's top picks if you're a discriminating or picky gel pen buyer. The Sarasa Grand is really nice because you get a nice metal grip, really nice hardware, a very good looking pen, has some extra weight to it, and it is an executive style pen, and usually these don't cost much more than $8 or $9. So you get a really high quality pen with a lot of metal for under $10. It's really, really nice. Pentel has the alloy, the Energel alloy, which is the other really good executive pen under $10, but I think a lot of people prefer the Zebra. It's a little bit more elegantly made. And then vintage series is nice, but you get some pretty cool inks, like a faded brown, faded black, like a gray black, or like anyway, a few different colors that are a little bit off from your standard blues and greens and reds. And then the limited edition just kind of gets you that gold. You know, it's really nice to have a matching hardware like green and green or black and black, but once in a while, if you want to class things up a little bit, you get this gold. Taking a closer look at it, we can see it really is the same pen as the Sarasa Grand. It has the metal grip area without any sort of knurling or anything like that. You just have these extended pipes here, which honestly, you could see them visually, but you could barely feel them. When I go like this, I almost don't even feel them at all. You put your fingernail, you can kind of just grab onto it, but these are really just for aesthetic purposes. The metal is, it's like a matte finish, but clearly, obviously it's shiny, which it's metal. It's not quite dull, but it's, I would say it's antique. It has like very fine micro scratching, like you'd expect to see in a brass or a bronze, like a softer metal. But I don't think it's bronze or brass, for the record. I just think it has that really nice effect to it, which it's unpainted. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's coated. It's really hard to say with this sort of stuff. I would say it's probably unpainted. You have the matching text here. It says Zebra Sarasa in gold alongside the gold, which is nice. And then the matching hardware. This doesn't have that antique effect. That would have been too hard to pull off in this like coated steel or whatever this is. So this has a mirror or glossy finish, which is quite nice, but it's a little bit unfortunate you couldn't match the two. And again, I'm probably being nitpicky here, but it's very cool that this has the antique finish. Definitely looks like a much older, much more expensive pen, but this, you know, sends you back to reality, and you have basically the same clip as always, but in the steel. It is that extended version, where it extends up, spring loaded, where it works very well as a clip, but this clip end that kind of sticks up, it definitely gets in the way, and I find myself, like when I push the pen down like this, I poke myself. But that is a very much a known issue with this Sarasa Grand. And then if you do work at it really hard, sometimes you could actually remove this piece, take out the clip, and put this piece back in. So I've flipped this for another clip that's a lower profile, but it's actually kind of difficult to do, and the chance of scratching up the hardware is quite hard. So it may not be something you want to do with a limited edition. Taking the pen apart, we can see it's very much a standard Sarasa Grand, which is to say you have your standard Zebra JF style refill. In this case, it's a 0.5 millimeter, so the JF 0.5. Then you have the obviously the metal, but it's plastic inside. So this piece of metal is just epoxied or glued or whatever to this piece of plastic, and you have the plastic joining piece there, which is kind of just how these things are done, especially in the under $10 space where things are, some costs have to be cut. The click is the same as any Zebra Sarasa Grand. This pen, it has some interesting colors and the gold, but it really very much is a standard Sarasa Grand, and we've seen them come out with limited editions and vintage versions and stuff like that before. So this thing is kind of know what you're getting here. The writing is quite nice. It is a Sarasa after all, so we know it's going to be high-end gel ink, very smooth, very consistent, very reliable. The one thing to say is because this is part of the vintage line, you'll be looking at some non-standard colors. This one is a dark green, definitely not a standard pen green. I don't think I have any, like, here's a very standard pen green. There's a Bic multi-pen. This is obviously a ballpoint, so you're not gonna get the color saturation that you get out of a gel, but here's a more standard green. Here's this. This is a good deal darker and much more legible. So if you want a nice legible green, that is, it's not a green black, it's definitely a green, but it's getting right towards that green black area. You have this. This pen I bought in the green plus gold. There's also like a burgundy plus gold, and a really good looking one that I was unable to procure for this video was a matte black with gold. Those seem to be going fast, and maybe they're available now, maybe they're not. It's hard to say with these limited edition pens, but I grabbed the green and gold before they sold out. Again, even the limited edition thing worked on me, so I acted fast, couldn't get the black, got this one. I think it looks quite nice. The black seems really sharp to me, and the red, and I think it's a navy as well. They all look pretty cool, but the black seems like it's going to be exceptional. I haven't seen it in person, so hard to confirm. So this pen released, I believe, in early February or maybe late January 2022, depending on if you're in Japan or in the US. It is a Japanese pen. I had the this piece of paperwork was randomly in the box where I got it, so you could see it is a Japanese pen. This is the if you had bought a box of 10, this is what would have came. For some reason, I had some packaging included where I purchased it. But you have the like the model number, then you have all the other stuff, and you could see I haven't like figured out the Zebra line yet and what the model numbers or whatever need, but I think it is vintage green, whatever. So that's it. That's a cool little extra there. This is the pen itself, quite nice, and Zebra did a really nice job with this Sarasa Grand, and I'm glad to see it continue, even if the offering itself is a little bit confusing and these could be hard to find. So you probably want to act pretty fast, and maybe you could grab one or two of these. So that's the, get my notes out. That is the Zebra Sarasa Grand Vintage Series Limited Edition, Limited Antique Edition. Thanks for watching.